Welcome back to another episode of HealthCap Weekly Wrap.
We're glad you're with us because today's episode is a little different. Instead of our usual roundup of stories, we're focusing all our attention on one topic, the flu.
And we get it. The flu doesn't always make the headlines the way other illnesses do, but this year, it's different. This flu season is hitting hard. It's moving quickly. And for those of us working in senior care, it's creating real challenges across the board.
We're seeing more cases, more hospitalizations, more outbreaks, and in many communities, more pressure on already stretched care teams.
According to the CDC, this season started earlier than usual and has already led to millions of cases nationwide. The dominant strain, H3N2, is known for causing more severe illness in older adults. That makes this a direct threat to the residents we care for every day.
And it's not just about individual residents, it's the ripple effect. One flu case becomes 5, 5 become 10, and soon you're looking at a full-blown outbreak.
That's why the focus of today's episode is preparation, prevention, and smart response. We're going to talk through what we're seeing, how to respond quickly, how to protect staff, and how to keep families informed and involved along the way.
Let's start with early recognition. The CDC emphasizes this every year, but this season, it's especially important. Flu symptoms in older adults aren't always obvious. You might not see a high fever or a strong cough. It could be fatigue, confusion, or just a resident who's not quite themselves.
That's why frontline staff play such a critical role. They're often the first ones to notice subtle changes. And when those observations are taken seriously and acted on quickly, it can change the course of an outbreak.
Now, let's talk treatment. The CDC recommends starting antiviral medications like Tamiflu as early as possible, ideally within 48 hours of symptom onset. That early window is where treatment is most effective.
The challenge is that window can close fast. And if you're waiting for test results or tracking down a provider order, you might miss it.
That's why having protocols in place ahead of time is so important. Your team should know exactly what steps to take when flu-like symptoms appear. Who do they call? How is treatment started? How are families notified? The clearer the process, the faster the response.
And keep in mind, antivirals can also be used preventively in some cases. If there's been exposure but no symptoms yet, early use can help reduce the risk of the virus spreading further. It's a strategy worth discussing with your medical director or consulting pharmacist.
We also need to think about testing. Some communities have rapid tests on site. Others rely on external labs. Whatever your setup is, the key is speed. Get samples collected quickly. Make sure staff know how to handle them properly and have a plan in place for what happens while you wait for results.
Now let's shift to the team. We can't talk about flu season without talking about staffing. When care teams are getting sick, calling out, or coming in while not feeling their best, the whole system feels the strain.
That's where the CDC and NIOSH Respiratory Protection Program Toolkit comes into play. It's a step-by-step guide to help you build or improve your respiratory protection program. And if you're using N95 respirators, even occasionally a written program is required.
This isn't just about compliance, it's about safety. For the staff, for the residents, for everyone walking into your building.
The toolkit helps you cover the basics: fit testing, medical clearance, staff education, storage, maintenance. It also walks you through how to evaluate your exposure risks and determine when respirators are appropriate.
And if you already have a program, now's the time to check it. When was your last fit test? Do new hires get trained right away? Are masks stored correctly and replaced when needed?
All of these steps add up. When done well, they build confidence and consistency. Your staff knows what's expected, and they know how to protect themselves and others.
Another area we're seeing more focus on this year is enhanced barrier precautions. These are simple but powerful practices, like using gowns and gloves during high-contact care activities, even if the resident isn't on transmission-based precautions.
That means tasks like helping with toileting, changing linens, wound care, and bathing. These are routine tasks, but they involve close contact and increase the risk of spreading viruses.
By making these precautions part of daily care routines, your team can help reduce spread without waiting for a positive test or a formal isolation order. It becomes second nature. not a reaction to a problem that's already growing.
Now let's talk about family communication. During flu season, emotions tend to run high. Families are concerned, they're hearing about outbreaks, they're watching the news, and they want to know their loved ones are safe.
This is where proactive communication is key. Don't wait for questions. Reach out first. Let families know what steps your community is taking. Share information about vaccination, infection control protocols, treatment plans, and visitation policies.
Even something as simple as a weekly email update can make a big difference. Families want to feel informed. They want to trust that you're on top of it. And the more transparent you are, the more support you'll get in return.
Also, remind families that if they're feeling unwell, even if it's just a cold, it's best to stay home. Encourage them to call or video chat instead. Frame it as a way to protect not only their loved one, but every resident and every staff member.
And don't forget, flu season doesn't end in January. It often continues through March and even into April. So there's still time to get vaccinated. If a resident or staff member hasn't received their flu shot yet, it's worth offering again.
Now let's talk briefly about morale. This season has been draining. Teams are tired. Managers are stretched thin. Leaders are doing their best to hold everything together.
Take a moment to check in with your staff. Acknowledge how hard they're working. Celebrate small wins. Maybe someone caught symptoms early and helped prevent a larger outbreak. Maybe someone volunteered to cover a shift when a colleague was out. Those moments matter.
Recognition doesn't have to be fancy. A thank you note, a shout out in the break room, a 5-minute huddle to say, "We see you, we appreciate you." It goes a long way.
So before we close out, let's walk through a quick checklist to help you assess where your community stands right now.
First, flu response. Do you have a clear written plan? Does your team know the first steps to take when symptoms appear? Do you have an on-call provider who can initiate treatment quickly?
Second, respiratory protection. Are your fit tests current? Has everyone been trained on how and when to wear respirators? Are you following the guidance in the CDC's Toolkit?
Third, treatment readiness. Do you have antivirals available? Is your pharmacy partner ready to respond to urgent needs? Have you discussed prophylaxis with your medical team?
Fourth, daily precautions. Are enhanced barrier precautions being used consistently during high-contact care? Do staff know which tasks require gloves and gowns, even when a resident isn't symptomatic?
Fifth, communication. Are families informed and reassured? Are you giving them clear ways to help protect the community?
And finally, staff support. Are your people okay? Are they equipped, informed, and appreciated?
We know this season is hard. We also know you're doing everything you can. And this conversation isn't about doing more, it's about doing the right things, in the right order, with the right team.
That wraps up this special flu-focused episode of HealthCap Weekly Wrap. Thanks for spending your time with us today.
You can find more information, including links to the CDC Respiratory Protection Program Toolkit and other flu season resources, in the weekly roundup on Angie's blog at healthcapusa.com/Angie's-blog.
Until next time, take care of yourselves, your teams, and the residents who count on you every day.